Well, how's it going there, everybody? It's Will Ryan of DAGames, and we're doing our very first Ask DAGames. It's the hashtag that we put in Twitter, and a lot of you have been sending me a ton of questions, and we're gonna get right into it. Dark Destroyer says, what inspired you to make music based on video games? A lot of shit, really. I mean, well, it kind of goes back to my passion on video games. I love video games, and with our, obviously big title, DAGames, what better way to do it than to have it kind of match up together? I mean, I've always been really happy making music, but I think if we were to make just original music with our title DAGames, the question would arise. The question would arise when people would be like, you're a gaming channel, what the fuck, man? Nico Shirk says, how long does it take for you to make a full song along with a lyric video? Now, normally it takes about 2 days to make a song. I know, it's freaking Fast and Furious. It depends on how big the lyric video is. It depends on how long the song is. Normally, it can take 4 days for a lyric video. It can sometimes take up to a week. Or much like the Sister Location lyric video, it took about a month to do. It depends on how much we put into it, because you can't always, dictate an exact amount of time. I mean, if you could put a structured time on it, we could make it at least 3 to 4 days gap before we do it. But yeah, that's exactly how long it takes. Who inspired you to start YouTube, and why'd you love me so much? You know it, baby. I love you a long time. Obviously followed by, oh, that sounded naughty. Well, it wasn't a question of who started me on YouTube. It was more or less it got back to the time of Newgrounds, where I always used to post there, and I think what inspired me was just the general community. It wasn't really one particular person who started me doing content. It was just the fact that everybody was working together, and I got a little bit jelly because I wanted to make content because passion and all that stuff. And I found that the internet existed, and I've just been learning new things every single time. Music's always been like, I have big inspirations from metal artists to rock artists to pop artists. That's the beauty of a community, is that everybody's changing forever. Why is your name DAGames? DA stands for Diamond Armada, and games. Will, can you play Battlefield 1?
I really want to, but I need to ask for permission from EA for the closed alpha. I want to play Battlefield 1. Please let me play Battlefield 1.
Of course, when Battlefield 1 comes out, I think, yeah, I definitely want to play that one. Screw Infinite Warfare. Hashtag screw Infinite Warfare. Let's do it. How can you handle the screams in your songs and not have a sore throat? Winky face. Jessica. Well, generally, when I started making my band a long while back, Onyx Colony, I could not for the life of me go for a day without having my throat absolutely sore as hell. And I think, when you make screaming noises, you're not generally supposed to use just your throat. You're supposed to go from your diaphragm. And when people tell you how to use an organ, you don't know how to compute it yourself, and I don't know what they mean by saying use your diaphragm. So for all the time, I've just been like, you know what? Screw it. I will go straight with my throat, and a bunch of agonizing years later, turns out I can just naturally do it. I've just strengthened my throat now, and now I can just scream whenever the hell I want, and it's all good. What was the best moment of your life, and what emotions were you feeling? The best emotion of my life was happiness. Of finding that I found something truly close to me that I could relate to, who I could passionately, fall in love with, and all that stuff. Which, I mean, okay, there's two different types of love. There's personal love, and there's, your passion love. I fell in love with my passion for a long time ago. Love. It's only been recently that I've actually, found that passion. For a whole year, it's been absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I've got many different types of love, and the feeling was happiness. It was just contentness. I mean, you can't constantly hold on to happiness every single day, but I like to think that every day you try to be as positive as you can. Because what's the use in being negative every day? It's just gonna make you feel negative. If you think negative, you are negative. But if you think positive, you will be positive. Why do you hate me? I don't hate you! What's going on? What is your favorite game? See, there we go, there's a question. I have a numerous amount of games. You can't always pin yourself on the one game. I mean, you can if it really got you inspired to do gaming in general. So as far as retro, I mean, Crash Bandicoot was always a big franchise for me. Mario, Sonic, even some of the Bugs Bunny games on Game Boy. That was something back in the day. A lot of you don't remember that. In case you don't know, this is what the box art used to look like. Oh, kill me. What's your opinion on art thefts? Like the kind of guy who steal a song from you and post it as theirs. I guess if I was to go with the logic, nobody likes stealing. Of course not. But of course, if you're gonna credit somebody, then yes, fine. It's kind of part of the fair use policy. You know, you credit somebody properly, you put them in a video, and you call out their name. You know, that's something worth doing. But people who take things as themselves, they need to really think, what is their aim and what are they trying to do? Like, they gain something, they take it for their own credit, but when somebody asks them to do something similar to that, they don't harness the talent, then they can't do it, which is a false sense of subscriber count, and then they leave straight away. It's the wrong kind of fame, it's the wrong kind of ideal. I kind of feel that art thefts in general on DeviantArt, you know, art should always have like a banner, you know, like a little label to suggest that it's yours and yours only, so then you can cross-reference, and if anybody tries stealing that name and everything, you can cross-reference it back to your own account, and then all logic is yours. You can't copyright anything, unfortunately, that's not yours to own. For instance, if it's Undertale or FNAF, you can't just take that and copyright it yourself because Toby Fox has them and Scott Cawthon has them, and there's no way they're gonna go into a legal fight just on friggin' DeviantArt. There's no way. I mean, we've seen on Reddit so many times that, you know, creators have had to come in and sort that problem out. But again, when people make images for websites, they should always give themselves the question, do they want to put their own banner inside there to stimulate theirs, or do they want to distribute it out to everybody and run the risk of it not being yours? It's ultimately your choice. What are your plans for the future of the channel? My future consists of just doing whatever the hell we're doing right now. Playing more games, doing more songs, making many more cartoons. There's many more to come, especially the two reality guys right here. These guys are my lord and savior from a long time ago. So yeah, continuing what we're doing, because right now we're really happy with what we're doing. The best part of being a YouTuber is doing whatever you want to do, tailor making the channel to whatever you want to do, because then people will come in and find the same interest and they'll want to follow that. It's the art of an inspiration, it's the art of a YouTuber. It's, you know, you don't want to do something that you hate, because ultimately you'll just be thinking of money then, and then when you start thinking of money, you start going downhill in depression when it gets to the lowest level, and it just doesn't benefit any mindset in the slightest. Whereas if you're just going in for the money and you don't give a shit, then I can't judge, because some people want a way of life on the finances. Personally, I don't agree with it, but everybody has their way, which such is the art of freedom. What kind of friendships have you made or lost because of the success of the channel? I mean, I've lost a few personally and connection-wise, and I've gained a few. You know, this is a thing that happens on the internet. It's not something you should expect. You can't always keep a friend, you know. They're always going to be by your side. You've got to think of your best friends and the people who are on your channel. Personally, I've lost a lot of people on the channel because of greed, because of all sorts of stuff, but I've also gained people, like very talented people, very professional people, and people that connect with me. And that's the art of a friend, somebody who can connect. If you can't make that connection, then it's not going to work out. Obviously, when you're making a video with somebody, you want them to be friends with you first before you end up going out there in the universe not even knowing what the hell they do, not even what their personality is about. And that's going to screw you over big time, because that one video is going to go out there, and then eventually just they go off somewhere else, and you think, well, why the hell do they hate me? And that's going to scramble with your mind for a while. But I have lost a lot and gained a lot. You know, it's the battle of growing. You know, you grow with maturity and you grow with your audience, but at the same time, you also grow with individual content creators. You don't try and use them as a stepping stone, but ultimately you try gain friendships wherever you are, you know, in the community. If you don't make friends, fair enough. You know, you never set yourself out to always cherish their heart and everything, but if you genuinely do find a passion, go find a friend, you know, somebody who knows and understands you. What would have been your job if you didn't do YouTube? Well, I did used to work at McDonald's before I started properly climbing up. I started McDonald's and I worked at Hollywood Bowl, Frankie and Benny's. I can kind of see myself in like a non-dream job doing customer service, you know, wearing the hat, having the spatula, spitting on all the children. But honestly, if I had to, I would have probably gone for game developer. I was, you know, in the style of animation. I've always loved the way that animation works, but the moment my channel started gaining more demand, I could no longer handle the chore, which was, you know, doing constant animation. which is why we have another animator doing our stuff now. He's more than happy to do it. It's his passion. Brilliant. But I swiftly moved on to game development, and I loved that to pieces. So I'm constantly going to stay with that. No problems, no questions asked. All good. Will you go to EGX this year? As far as conventions, yes. I mean, EGX is definitely something we want to go to. It's our first ever convention. You know, not everybody has had their very first convention for EGX. I did personally, and it was a lot of fun. And I remember, you know, because there's all sorts of things like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and a load of indie booths, and YouTube was there, yesteryear? Yesteryear, I was at... Yes, EGX. As far as other conventions, I mean, we've got, like, MagFest next year, PAX East, Too Many Games, and possibly all the PAXs, to be honest, because America is where we've enjoyed ourselves most at all these sorts of conventions. EGX and Insomnia, very awkward times, but, you know, that's because we were just trying to get into the spirit of a convention. Otherwise, you know, the American ones are mostly where you go to. If you have any conventions to suggest, put them down below. I will happily consider. On a scale of 1 to over 9,000, how much fun was Too Many Games? Over 10,000! I mean, I kind of already answered that question. It was a ton of fun. I mean, yes, over 10,000. I cannot rate it in between. It was the best time of our lives. We enjoyed its pieces because we saw all of you. It was beautiful. It was a fantastic moment. We hugged, we married, we had a couple... I'm kidding. We didn't do that. Why did you decide to make your songs heavy metal? They're awesome, but I'm just wondering. Okay, so this goes back quite a while. I loved Aqua. I loved S Club 7. I loved all those cheesy bands like Busted and Sum 41 back in the day. I mean, yes, they were probably respectable bands then, and they probably are now. Who knows? Some of them are cringy, some of them are whatever. The cringe is real. But my little brother and my big brother were very harnessed. When they started turning into teenagers, they were very harnessed within the powers of metal and rock, and they introduced me to bands like Slipknot, Breaking Benjamin, System of a Down, Disturbed, Killswitch Engage, Bullet for My Valentine, and when we were playing Need for Speed Underground, there was a few metal songs there as well. By the way, that was a very good track list. If anybody could find the CD soundtrack for Need for Speed Underground, I would love it. Where did you learn how to play guitar? I never went anywhere to learn how to play guitar. My big brother was always the one to play guitar, and I took a massive interest as soon as him and his friends were playing it. I just strummed the guitar, and eventually I learned how to do power chords after doing like Green Day simple chords, like, you know, the basic ones that you get taught when you're first taught how to play guitar. I got it from my uncle, I got it from my big brother, I got it from all his friends, and ultimately that's made me into the guitarist that I am today. Not the most orthodox, but definitely a passion that I once had and I still have. When you're not busy with DAGames and all that, what do you do in your spare time? Do you get the picture? To get the picture? No, in my spare time, I like to just play video games. I like to spend time with my fiance, Chloe. I like to watch movies in bed sometimes, or when I have spare time, I feel lost, because, like, there's not a lot to do around where we are, and whatever we've done already, it's just repetitive. So we normally just either wait for the postman, or we, like, clean up the house, or we'll talk to people on Discord or on Skype. You know, we've got connections, we've got friends, and we'll always speak to them, but I think, as far as spare time goes, I mean, Pornhub's a pretty good site. I'm kidding. Are you planning on collarbone? Collarbone? With more YouTubers anytime soon? I think you meant collaborate. I think he meant collaborate. I will collarbone in the future. You know, I'm not planning on searching for people, because it's not as if, like, a YouTuber should go to another YouTuber and go, hey, I like your stuff, we should make a video. You can't just start off there. With collaborating with somebody, you've got to feel a connection first. You've got to test the waters with them, be friends with them. You know, ultimately, when you're going on YouTube, you don't want to just go in with a stranger, as I said before. You want to go in with a friend playing a video game, because that's what video game playing was all about. It was just about playing video games and having the best fun with it. I'd go in with a friend first. So as far as collaborating with people, I'm making friends, and there are some in the future, but, you know, I'd rather harness the power and chemistry of a friendship first. What was your favorite reality cartoon to make? My favorite one is actually the most recent one, YouTube Red, or Skype Reality. I mean, it's weird. I always had this crazy love for the first reality, which is Facebook Reality, because I will tell you this, I smoked a lot of weed. back in the day. I don't do that anymore. It's been a long time since I've done it, and I recommend you do not. But it did spawn a conversation with me and my little brother, where we were talking about social media, and we were speaking with the most monotone, posh voices. It was just a crazy night. And that lingered with me for the entire day. Like, I woke up, and I was lingered with the thought of this new idea, and I knew we always used to exchange cartoon ideas. So then the reality series came along, and Lord behold, something that was just as simple and lazy as that gained an award in Newgrounds, and ultimately anybody can get an award in Newgrounds. You just have to put your effort into it. But it's always such an awesome feeling getting one, and then Facebook Reality just spawned on an era of stuff. I think the best one so far is one that's not out yet. It's Gmod Reality, because there's a lot of effort into that. You're gonna love it. What was it like taking your first majestic swig of the almighty Monster Energy? Interesting story. This goes a while back in college. I used to drink Red Bull like no other. Like, I'd go to Cafe Nero and I'd eat chocolate cake and hot chocolate, and then I'd go to the off license, get some Red Bull. I'd be in college. Shit off my face. I always started to feel really ill from it. I always used to drink too much, and then my stomach would start going crazy. Then I tried Relentless, and it just tasted like copper. Somebody introduced me to Monster Energy, and it had that juiciness to it, and at the moment I started, I felt the best I had ever been that day. So that's why we'll always favor Monster. Plus, my favorite colors are black and green. Here, I drink it. I don't have a problem. Have you ever made a song that you were forced to, or that you didn't want to? Also, hi. Hello, Xbox Crafting. How are you doing? As far as being forced to, I mean, all the FNAF songs. I mean, ultimately, I have a choice. I have a choice whether to take these on, and I've always dictated that I will never be controlled to do something. Hey, it's the reason why the second album's called Controlled. No YouTuber, no content creator should ever feel as though they're controlled, because you want to acquire an audience that suits you, you know, who comes to you and goes for you, as opposed for just the craze. And unfortunately, with the Five Nights at Freddy's trend, a lot of people just come for the game rather than the face, which is... oh, it's really annoying. And all the FNAF songs that we've done are a result of somewhat being forced. But ultimately, at the same time, we love making them. So it's a battle. It's like a tennis racket battle. It's like fighting for who did what. And with the FNAF songs, we kind of feel we enjoyed making them, of course. I Will Not Be Moved was the most forced one. It was one that I had to use one of my favorite riffs. I never thought I'd have to do it. I mean, I'm glad the riff's out there. It's brilliant. But I feel as though I Will Not Be Moved was the most forced one that I ever had to do. But yes, every YouTuber goes through that. How long is your bread roll? No homo. Tiger bread for the win. How much do you care about your fans like me? Well, without fans like you, I would not be here today. You have all come and just in your full storm. Even after the purge, just everybody was just continuing to come back, and the amount of support that I've received at conventions, the community, the content creators, the friendships I've gained, all the fans who send in their art, and all the retweets that people have, and all the stories that people share. I could never hate them. Okay, you get your annoying fans, you get your, you know, somewhat crazy fans, you know, the crazy ones, but who doesn't? You know, everybody's got a crazy mind at the end of the day, and would you be considered any different if you were crazy, or that person was boring? You know, ultimately you all share the same thing, which is you have an avid passion for the channel, and I could not thank every single one of you enough. I'm still trying my hardest. Please, I hope you're enjoying the stuff that I do, but I can't force anybody. I can't force anybody to like the stuff that we do. But if you do, gratefully appreciated, and that's who we make content for, the people who send us all that stuff, that massive support. So we want to support you every single time. So that was the questions of Ask DAGames. If you have any more questions, we're going to be relating this to a bigger series. So if you want to put your comments down below and get your question answered, anything, it can be absolutely bogus. It can be as crazy as you want. It can be as overused as you want. It can be a meme. It could be anything you want. If you are curious about my life or anybody else in the channel's life, put your comments down below with hashtag AskDAGames, and we will be sure to read through as much as we can. So, this has been Will Ryan of DAGames. We've done hashtag AskDAGames. See you in the next Ask DAGames. Peace out, repetitive. Bye.